You know, there's nothing really like, you know, getting on stage at, you know, someplace you've never been before, and, you know, playing to all these people that you've never seen before, but it's this insane feeling, but it's probably the coolest feeling in the world.
And that's why you do it.
That's why I do it. Earliest memories of the band. It was Oliver, myself, and Nick Torado. And Nick Torado played the drums when we first started.
I was playing the guitar at the time, and I was just like, what? I guess because he was a better guitarist than me. He was a good guitarist. He was a great guitarist, and I knew he had a lot of potential, and potential that he's fucking skyrocketed these days. It's crazy nowadays. I mean, he's just kept at it, and I haven't really been playing guitar as much as him, so I was like, you can play guitar, I'll play the drums.
I guess after that, there was this kid that Nick knew named Joey Bag of Donuts, and he wanted to be in the band, so we tried him out, and he was pretty decent at drums, so we did that for a while.
It eventually came to the point where our buddy Joey came on drums, and I was like, I just want to do vocals, because that's always what I like to do.
You know, from there, you know, we just kind of kept evolving. We added Taryn Schaefer to bass before we played our first show.
There was obviously some talent there, so I couldn't not come to a practice. And you know, I'd met Oliver before the first practice. No, he seemed like an alright dude, so I went to a couple practices, and you know, it just really clicked. You know, felt right.
So, how was my personal experience at first Funeral Afterparty show ever? You know, it's pretty exhilarating, I would have to say, you know, like, just being part of something like that, you know, and getting together and feeling like you're making good music and finally getting out there and doing it up. It's a good feeling, you know, everybody felt it was a good connection with everything.
Let's see. First show was Altamont, and that was doofy as hell because I had only gotten like 2 practices in before we played that. So, to be perfectly honest with you, most of what I was playing was made up on the spot.
It was a battle of the bands, which we made into the finals. You know, and considering how fresh we were as a band at the time, I would say it was rather impressive. It was just a good time, you know, hanging out at the fair and playing stuff, you know, a lot of fun, good time.
Practicing in the basement, that was an interesting time in the band.
You know what, the basement was cool the first couple of times I jammed with Oliver, because, you know, it was just the 2 of us, and I'm like, alright,
The beginning it wasn't too bad.
I'm like, this is chill, you got your own little place where we can jam and stuff, that's cool, you know, there's a computer down there that we used to goof off on.
Super small space, basically crammed in around just like mounds of crap everywhere in the basement, just like storage. And I tried to like touch it up, you know, I painted the walls, you know, like this kind of awful blood red, but it was also kind of great in its own way.
With the blood red walls.
Pretty metal.
It's brutal.
And I remember there was this monster can that like maybe like one of the first practices we ever had. Mac like brought it in, drank it, and like set it in on the windowsill.
There was a monster can that I showed up to practice with in like the early days. and I finished it, I left it on the windowsill. And until around the last couple of days times we practiced there, that monster can sat there.
It was there till the end.
That thing was like covered, that can was like a symbol of our band. It was like covered in cobwebs and there was like mold inside of it.
I think I watched a spider crawl out of it one
Later on, we had Mac's cousin come along who was just a wicked drummer, really, really talented.
When John joined, this was the first time we had, we finally achieved the sound we were looking for, pretty much. Or that was when we really started moving towards it. John was insane on the drums.
He was always making up weird-ass excuses like, I just ran out of insulin, or like, I have lockjaw, things that didn't exist.
He had some crazy skills and he wrote some pretty cool stuff for the band, and he did that for a while. We played a few shows with him.
After maybe half a year playing with him, he couldn't do it anymore, and we went maybe close to a year without a drummer. When I found Frank Savasta through an internet ad, and so why not, the worst that happens is, he shows up and murders us all.
He was writing great parts, and I think also just personality-wise, we all really meshed well together.
I knew from the first practice, the first time we played Swindler with him, this is gonna work out for a couple of months at least.
And I guess at that point, I was playing guitar and doing vocals, and then there was Mac and Taryn on guitar and bass. Yeah, the recording process was stressful, to say the least. That can really tear a band apart.
Oliver and I weren't getting along. Mac and I weren't quite seeing eye to eye.
At the end of the day, it was great. I mean, to be able to hear your music, in a recorded format, it's just amazing. It's awesome. I couldn't believe it was us. I was like, holy crap, that's us on that record, and we sound badass, and it's awesome.
Just going in and recording our first album, having a tangible copy of the music was absolutely fantastic.
As far as managing a band, a lot of people don't realize just how much goes into keeping a band going.
There's a lot of responsibility that goes into it that I think a lot of people don't really see or even know about. I think a lot of people think it's just as easy as, getting together in the basement and playing, and then, it all just kind of falls into your lap, but it's a ton of work.
We were young, I mean, obviously we could have improved on things, but we were having a good time, and at the end of the day, that's what it's about, doing what you love. So, there came a time in the career of the band where we kind of outgrew the basement. My parents had enough of us there. They wanted us to figure it out on our own. So, said, well, shit, what we gotta do? And we ended up finding these practice spaces in kind of weird, the industrial part of Albany. Real weird, sketchy place, but it was just kind of this weird labyrinth of rooms that all looked exactly the same.
Bare white walls, and with that light, it seemed like we were in a mental hospital or something.
So this is Bogies.
We played this dingy little hole-in-the-wall place, Bogies, a lot. That was pretty fun the first couple of times.
I guess the one part of playing shows, you know, that I think everyone overlooks is just how much of a pain in the butt it is to move equipment around, especially when you don't have a big car. I still have this car, it's a tiny little Mazda, you know, just a little sedan, and we would literally pack band members into that car. Like, we would have to put like McIntyre in the car first, and then literally pack like music equipment in around them so that they could not get out of the car or even like move their bodies until we got the music equipment back out. The back end of my car would be like practically sagging on the road.
But the Oniana show, I remember being the worst. We had to get Oliver's dad's car, which had a bigger, you know, front hatchback wagon.
2 half stacks, my giant bass amp, 3 guitars, and 3 people.
3 people.
For like a 4 or 5 hour long drive.
All in one car.
Valentine's was a good show. That was the one show I actually dressed up for.
You know, there's nothing better than when you execute a show really well and everything goes the way you want it to, because believe it or not, that is extremely rare. There's almost always a problem. One show, it was pretty funny. We played at Valentine's. It was one of our last shows. Just, you know, for shigs, we decided to all dress up in like wacky outfits. You know, I was like this like redneck with like a sleeveless flannel, and you know, Mac had a morph suit on, a full body like red morph suit. You know, his junk was like out there and everything. And I mean, I commend him for doing it. I don't think I would have done it.
Right at the end of the next song, my guitar string breaks. So we had about like I think like 3 minutes of Taryn and Frank just doing some crazy drum and bass thing. It was the Rasta Man rap while we fixed the guitars, and yeah, people seemed to love it. I don't know if it was just because it was so stupid or if it was actually like good, but you know, we fixed the guitars. You know, we finished up the set, and it was a funny night. Check this out. You know, hand drawn, you know, so not too bad, right? Oh, I'd wear it. So I think they're a big success. I own too.
Yeah, so at one point in the band, we decided to make t-shirts, and I had a design that I had drawn out, and everyone in the band was on board, and a family friend of ours is actually a t-shirt printer, and he gave us a great deal on them, so we were able to make a good amount and still make a pretty good profit on them.
It's definitely pretty awesome to like walk around school wearing these t-shirts and like have all the people who didn't know us be like, oh, where's the Funeral Afterparty crap? Where's this all coming from? I don't understand. This is like a cult. The band meant to me, it meant unity, brothership, a chance to play some really awesome shows.
We were just having fun, and what more could you really ask for anything? I mean, some of the best times of my life, some of the most fucking annoying times of my life, some of the most angriest I've ever been at somebody, you know?
You know, there's the creation process, but then there's the execution and just getting up there. You know, everyone's on the same page. You know, they're sharing the energy of playing the music, especially when you're like playing a concert and the crowd is pumped, they're dancing, they're going crazy, and you just feed off of the energy of the crowd, and there's like this interaction. It's just like, it's really like nothing else in the world.
This is what we work to accomplish. Just show off our hard work. I got nothing else.